Hey guys, welcome to the town of Montezuma, Colorado, and this is another video in my series of videos showing you the more interesting trails in Colorado. In other words, everything you need to know about the Deer Creek Trail. And today we are using the Ford F-150 Tremor to go up to the top of Deer Creek. And if you watched the last episode, you know that I described one of the most, let's call it, butt-clenchy trails when we did Webster Pass. Well, today I'm not doing Radical Hill, the butt-clenchy trail, but I am going to go to the top of Radical Hill and maybe walk down and show you guys why it's so scary. But we're going to be doing a trail called Deer Creek, and it's right here from the town of Montezuma that you get going. Now there are three trails here: Webster Pass, St. John, which connects to Deer Creek, and of course Deer Creek. Now, if you want to know how to get to the town of Montezuma, just watch the last video on Webster Pass, and that'll show you exactly how to get here. It's about 2 hours up I-70 into the Colorado mountains, so it's relatively close. Now, of course, as you can tell by my hat, this video series is sponsored by Onyx, and that's a great way to figure out just where to go without actually having to have a trail guide, because it is a trail guide. And if you guys use the discount code TFLoffroad, you'll get a significant discount. But the best thing is you can put it on your phone even if there's no cell service, like there's not going to be when we go up Deer Creek, and then you can just use your phone or use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto to put it up on your car's navigation system. But anyway, let's get going. And one thing you should note about Montezuma, there are a lot of kids and dogs playing, as you can tell, in the middle of the street. So please be considerate and don't speed through here. The locals are very nice, but they don't like people hitting their pets or their kids. So just take it easy through here. Now, to get to Deer Creek, you don't want to go right down that trail that takes you to St. John, but you do want to go that way. So let's fire up the F-150 Tremor and head up the trail. Now, keep in mind, this is not a video about the truck. This is a video about the trail, so I won't be reviewing the truck, but I will say that this is a good truck for this trail, mainly because it's got a slight off-road lift. It has complete underbody protection, of course, a low range which we'll be using, but most importantly, these general grabber tires, which are great tires to have off-road, because the worst thing that can happen, especially when you're by yourself, is that you get a flat. See, here are some of the poochies. Hey, poochies. Hi, come here. Look, it's Lassie. Okay, maybe not. Here come more poochies. Come here. Come here. Oh, you like me, don't you? Oh, you're a good boy or girl. Hi. Hi, come here. Good boy or girl. All right, well, let's hit the trail, and we'll zero out the odometer, and I will start up the truck. There we go. And we'll zero out the odometer so that, come on, Ford, I know you're built tough. We get it. So that you know exactly how far we're going. So let me go to the right screen. There we go. Resetting. And that's reset as well. So we're starting at, 0 miles here in the town of Montezuma. And thanks for joining me. I really appreciate that you guys are joining me on these fun adventures. And like I said, I'm trying to pick trails that are relatively scenic and that have something interesting at the end of them. And this one has the top of Radical Hill at the end of it. So that's going to be a hoot. I have enabled the off-road status screen, so I get the pitch and roll of the truck. And right now I'm in 4 automatic, but this truck also, of course, has 4 low, which we'll be using once we get on the trail. So let's go right here and go down the path. Now, if you're wondering how long this trail is, well, you'll know soon enough, but it's not that long, actually. It's pretty straightforward, but there are mines along the way. There are some spectacular views, and there are some really fun switchbacks that don't become a shelf road. For those of you who have been following my adventures in the Colorado mountains, you know that I really hate shelf roads, and that's because I've done enough of them, like Black Bear Pass, to be thoroughly scared of rolling down the hill, and now I enjoy off-roading, but not that feeling in your stomach when you feel like you might be rolling down 5,000 feet of elevation. And speaking of elevation, let's check my watch. 10,300 feet above sea level. So I would suggest if you're coming from the flatlands up here, you don't do so without maybe spending a night in Denver. You could do it, but at about 8,000, you are very susceptible, or at least happened to me, I was very susceptible to elevation or altitude sickness, and that is no fun. That's a massive migraine, and you feel like, it's kind of like being seasick, but worse. And I've been both, so I can compare them. Just horrible throbbing migraine-like headache that makes it difficult to even think. Anyway, this is just a short little dirt road to the trailhead, and when you're out here, just be considerate of the other people on the trail, so especially mountain bikers. As a mountain biker myself, I hate when cars pass me going too quickly, and I also hate when cars pass me going too slowly or just right behind me, because then you're like, what is this guy up to? So just pass them slowly, make sure you don't throw up any dust, because they have the same rights to enjoy the road as you do. And having been on a mountain bike actually up here, I know what it's like when a truck comes flying past you and throwing up rocks and dirt. Look, more poochies. And actually there's a pooch that lives at the trailhead to Deer Creek Trail, or maybe he'll be there. Now, we've owned a Defender, and a Defender is a fine car to take up this trail. I would highly recommend that if you are going to come up here, you take something with a low range. I'm not sure you could not do it with something like a Subaru Crosstrek or an Outback or a Bronco Sport, but my theory on off-roading is it's better to have more capability than less capability, because just like a ski area, think of the green run that immediately and somehow bafflingly turns into a black run. These are the things that happen when you're off-roading. So it's good to be prepared for the black run on the trail, even if you don't expect to hit it. It's good to have a vehicle that is capable of doing it, because that way you don't get stuck or you don't get in trouble. And getting a wrecker up here would be very expensive, even though there is a group here in Colorado of volunteers that does this basically as a public service. Now, if you're watching the Webster Pass video, this is the trail to Webster Pass, and that is exactly at, let's see, about a mile up the trail, up the dirt road from Montezuma. But instead of going left, you saw the sign for Deer Creek, so just head straight. And I saw this guy in the Lexus GX passing me as we started in Montezuma, and I think he's turned around, because that is not a car that, at least in stock form, that you'd probably want to take up here. In the wintertime, the great thing about this trail is you can come here and actually harvest trees. As long as you get a permit from the state, you can come here at Christmas time and pick yourself, well, probably not one of these, you probably have to go up higher on the trail, but pick yourself the perfect Christmas tree, and I see a lot of people doing that. And at the trailhead, you will see a lot of people with ATVs, 4x4s, motorcyclists, and such. I like the Steelies on this Defender, by the way. But here is the start of the trail. I'll show that to you, and let's see what the sign says. So it says, I'll read it to you, not that you can't read. Road County not maintained past this point. Plowed by owners. There are some houses up here. So whenever you see that sign, you should probably be aware that, oh, look at that, sorry. Free, let's see what's in the free library. Oh, all right, well, we've got a lot of dog toys. I was expecting books. Oh no, it's this free ball library. I should probably read before I talk. Yeah, so if you have a pooch, you can come here and grab a free ball. Now that is pretty cool. How cool is that? And because of all those dogs, probably necessary. All right, get back in the truck here. Let me put on my seatbelt, put it in neutral. It's a good place to go into 4 low. That's my rear locker, which I probably won't be needing, but I do want to be in 4 low here. Oh gosh, I lost my screen. I wonder if I can get rid of this. How do you get rid of hidden camera? There we go. So we're at 1.2 miles. Now we'll go back to the camera. And here comes an ATV and here comes some motorcycles. So I'll probably let them go ahead of me. Word to the wise, side-by-sides and motorcycles are much quicker. And if you're on one of them, you get very frustrated if you're behind a big old pickup truck. I'm assuming that's Deer Creek. Let me know in the comments below if I assumed wrong, because you know what happens when you assume. But I think this may be a good time to play the driving music before we get to the next milestone up Deer Creek. So come along with me and let's enjoy today's Colorado adventure. When you get to this sign, which is at, let's see, 1.6 miles from Montezuma, I've noticed that there are a lot of people who drive up there and camp. And so there are campsites up here. Are those campsites legal? I have no clue. You can see it actually, it's right there. Let me zoom in for you. But it is a beautiful place to camp, and I have seen a lot of people camping here over the years. And the creek is kind of running along the side of the trail right here. And it does get pretty rocky. So this trail, at least at the beginning, is kind of a very rocky dirt road, but it really does help to have something like this F-150 Tremor, which is, you know, Ford's off-road F-150, one step below the Raptor, because it does have a long wheelbase. And if you're like me and you have a bad back, then you'll appreciate the smoothness of the ride that a long wheelbase vehicle affords. It also is not great when you're rock climbing, but we won't be doing any rock climbing today. The other thing I would say is I have an air down, which would make the ride cushier. I know, but I've done this trail dozens of times, and you really don't need to air down. There's nothing that critical where you need a lot of grip. For expediency's sake, I have not aired down. There are these little speed bumps here. When I say little, I mean giant. Take a look here, if you can see it. And they're not really speed bumps. Whoa! I just hit the front of the truck. And that's why you want underbody cladding, which the Tremor has. Here's another nice camp area. Howdy. I love the smell of that campfire. What? I love the smell of your campfire. Makes me feel happy. Nostalgic? Yeah, exactly. Have a good day. Beautiful dog. Thank you. Take care. Oh yeah, there's nothing like the smell of a campfire on a beautiful summer morning. Just to bring back all those memories of when I was a kid growing up in Illinois, and we'd go to Wisconsin for my Christian camp and go camping. S'mores, hot dogs, all that is flooding back right now. Now over here, you'll get to a little kind of a tight area. There's more people camping. Like I said, there's some good camping spots here. And what I think I'll do here is, usually there's a big creek right there, but it's kind of dry, and it's funny because it really rained here last night. So you'll note that we're White River National Forest right now. So most of Colorado, which is great, is BLM land, which allows for things like off-roading. And in Colorado, you may think to yourself, this is off-roading paradise, and it really is. But we only have snow-free camping and off-roading maybe if we're lucky 4 months of the year. So kind of from the 4th of July, and sometimes up here it'll snow in September. So figure 3 months, and then it becomes snow wheeling, and I'm not a big fan of snow wheeling because it's easy, and I've done a lot of it, and I've gotten stuck a lot of times, and I think that's why I'm not a big fan of it. But I'll show you where we're going as soon as we get over this little hill. And let me kind of zoom in on that. So we are going kind of up there. And as you can tell, we still have snow up there. So luckily, we're far enough into the summer where it's not going to block the trail. At 2.5 miles from the town of Mazuma, you'll hit this T intersection. So you can go left or you can go right up the hill. Now, if you go right up the hill, that kind of takes you to a mine. Actually, every road in Colorado takes you to a mine. But for our purposes, the Deer Creek Trail goes this way, and I think it goes over Deer Creek. So let's take a walk over there and see. Once again, I'm guessing at this because there are no signposts, but we are going to be heading through the woods above tree line and then right there to the very tippy top of that. And this is just a beautiful valley. I mean, look at this. And when we get to the top, we can look down on this valley. But I think what we have here is a little bit of the creek coming down from all the snow melt in the mountains. Or maybe it's just the wetlands. But certainly, such a beautiful view here in the mountains of Colorado. Let me see if I can get across this without getting myself too wet. And then we'll continue up the trail. After you make that left turn and you cross the creek, and by the way, I haven't seen any deer. I've been up here, like I said, over a dozen times, and I have yet to see any deer. This is also a very good camping spot. I've seen people camp right here a lot. But this is where it gets much more off-roady, and you really do need a high clearance vehicle. We took the Lightning up here, and this is about where we stopped because we were afraid of puncturing the battery tray underneath the vehicle. I'm sure it would have taken it, but you don't want to pop a truck onto a pointy rock, start a fire that won't go out, and then get the headline YouTuber starts Colorado fire that burns down, pick the number of homes. So we wisely chose to turn around here, but I'm saying that just because it gives you kind of an idea of just how traily this is as opposed to dirt roady. And on camera, it probably doesn't look that difficult. You're like, hey, I could bring my Honda Civic up here. And for all of you who are saying that, please do, and let us film it. All right, let's roll the music, and I'll show you some more of this trail. The next milestone on Deer Creek Trail is 3.2 miles, and that's this set of serpentines. Now, there's no place to get lost here, but these are rather tight serpentines, and there is the ability to do some damage here to your truck or car, so just take this very easy. Not that you should be going fast anywhere, but the reason I point this out is because right past the serpentines is kind of the last bit of trees that we're about to encounter before we pop out above tree line. And just a tip for all of you guys coming out here, it's always great to bring your mirrors in when going through someplace tight. And I always like to let people know that if you're bringing a new vehicle out off-roading, I mean, you will do a little bit of pinstriping. especially something this wide. This truck belongs to Ford. We got it for a 1-week loan, and this is the Tremor, so it is their second after the Raptor most off-road worthy truck. So I feel confident in testing it out here. This is what Ford engineered and designed this truck to do. It's to go on trails like this. But as somebody who reviews cars and trucks on a regular basis, I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that, you know, there is going to be maybe a little bit of trail damage, and pinstriping is not a huge deal. Most of it looks worse when the vehicle is dirty than it really is, and it will usually just wash right out. But you should be aware of that. So if you don't want your new vehicle to lose its new car shine or pristineness, then you may want to think about buying something a little bit older. And I've said this many times, but I'll repeat it because it's worth repeating. Land Rover says that the average person who takes their Land Rover or Range Rover off-road is the third owner or 7 years into the ownership process, and then you don't quite feel so worried about the vehicle when you're in situations that could do a little bit of pinstriping. And there's nothing here that's going to really damage the truck. It's not like we're off-roading in Moab or someplace. Oh, he's pulling over. That's great. Or someplace, you know, where it gets steep and deep very quickly. And usually the rule, by the way, is that the vehicle going uphill has the right of way. So this was very nice of them to move over. Much appreciated. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. By myself. Have a good day.
Thank you.
How is it up there?
It's very nice.
Yeah? All right.
I love your videos.
Oh, thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love your razor. I like how you got it muddy.
We actually just watched your video last night when you were in Ranger Raptor, and you went up to the top of
Yeah. So now I got a bigger truck.
There you go.
All right, have a good day, guys. Bye. Bye. Oh, it's so cool. I'm so honored and so thrilled to meet our fans on the trail. I am not worthy. Really appreciate it and love seeing you guys, and we need to buy stickers so that when we meet you guys, we can give you some stickers. All right, so we have busted above tree line, and this is where the trail gets fun because now it's just open and wide. Like I said, this is really not, well, let me show you. This is really not a shelf road per se. Shelf road is just a road that kind of goes along the side of a mountain, and you can see that's where it goes, and then eventually right there is where we'll be going. So let me just roll the camera again, bring on the music, and we shall meet you at the top and meet at the next crossroads. At 4.4 miles from Montezuma, you will reach a crossroad. Let me show you. And if you're wondering, we are at 12,000. Look at that. It's down here, bottom of my watch. Yeah. Come on, watch. There we go. 12,209 feet above sea level. And the view is spectacular. I mean, look at that. Oh my God. But you do reach this crossroad. So let me show you which way you want to go if you're following the Deer Creek Trail or going to Radical Hill. Now, if you were to go straight, kind of right, that would take you just bloop, 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 up there, over there, over there, over that hill, come to a ghost mine, and then back down to Montezuma, following the St. John Trail. But we are not going to go that way. We are going to go to Radical Hill and Webster Pass. And if you remember from last week's video, I said that the top of Radical Hill comes out up, zoom out, comes out up there. And so that's where we're going, and I'll show it to you from the top. This is called the Mid-Fork Swan, I guess. That's what it says, Mid-Fork Swan. I'm not sure what that means. I have been up here quite a bit. I do know if you keep going that way, you can eventually go back down the other side, not to Montezuma, but to Breckenridge. That's a very steep hill. And speaking of steep hills, This is probably the hardest part right here. It gets pretty steep and deep. So I think I'm going to engage my rear locker for this portion of the trail because it's steep and kind of loose and gravelly. If I'm out of breath, please forgive me. Like I said, we're about 12,000 feet. That is 30% less oxygen density, which is 30% basically less oxygen. And so it does make for outdoor adventures that are a little bit breathy. All right, so let's engage. Let's put a neutral. I don't know if you have to put neutral. I'd just like to. Let's engage the rear locker. And you can tell right there, 4-wheel drive. God, that's tiny. Rear locker engaged. Put it in drive. Let's climb up this steep hill. Now, at the beginning of this video, I said one of the most important things that you want coming up here are good tires, and this is exactly the reason. Because now, let me show you the tires. They're really crawling, really grabbing at the dirt, making sure that we can get up this hill. And it doesn't look steep to you guys, I know. On camera, everything gets flattened out. But trust me when I say it is steep. And rutted out and rocky and all that good stuff. So like I said, it's nice to have that ability when the trail turns steep and deep, and it will do so again right up here, to be able to lock up the rear diff and feel confident in going up this hill. All right, here we go. One more little rutted out steep section. And this is the kind of off-roading I like. This is technically not a shelf road because there's no place I can fall off this. So the worst thing that can kind of happen to me here is I might puncture a tire, but that's why it's good to have good tires. Let me do this. I'm going to run out and I'm going to put the camera out there, and then you guys can kind of see what it looks like for the truck to go by. And I know I won't be able to show you the steepness of this trail, but at least you'll have a sense of what it looks like when I come by. And I just want to thank you for joining me on this adventure. It's because of you guys and all the nice comments that I had in the last Webster Pass video that I'm doing this. We got, I think, about 20,000 views. And I'm doing these because you guys seem to really appreciate them. And I really appreciate the fact that you appreciate it. And so it really motivates me to come out here and do the best job I can, giving you a sense of what this trail is like. I figure some of you live here in Colorado, but a bunch of you probably don't. So this might be a fun way, like I said, I'm out of breath, to live kind of vicariously through me. All right, little mic here, run down. So that's a lot easier going up in the truck than walking up. And please forgive any butt crackage. It was unintended. All right, so we're almost to the top here. We got about maybe a mile or two of kind of flat land once we crest that hill, and we'll be at the top of the trail. And I'll show you the top of Radical Pass. So, there we go. Let's make it up the rest of this hill. I have to say I am impressed with the Tremor. I'm also impressed by its price. If I remember right, when we reviewed this and compared it to the, I think it was Silverado. God, so many trucks. This was almost $80,000. Let me look. Now I'm curious. I think we have the Monroney. So I'm also, yeah, we do. Oh, I can't reach it. Come on. So I'm also impressed by this truck's price. All right, 18 MPG, no Monroney. but this might be a price sheet right here. Price sheet. Yep, as tested. Base price $64,000 with every possible upgrade you can have, including the big twin panel moon roof, the 3.5 liter Eco Boost, the Tremor Equipment Group 402A, which is $11,000, gets you to $80,000, which is, you know, a lot of money. But you get a lot of truck. But I do understand and appreciate the sentiment out there that trucks are getting too expensive. And all I would say to that is that this is the MSRP, and we've seen a lot of cash on the hood for a lot of trucks because they are piling up at dealerships, because after COVID and after the chip shortage, the manufacturers started cranking out cars and trucks like either TikToks or Tic Tacs, pick your point of reference, and now they have to discount them. So while it is $80,000 on the sticker, I think if you were to find an eager dealer, you could probably get it for a lot less. And the manufacturers are also starting to put money on the hood. So let me show you this. Look how spectacular that is. And we are going, whoa, that's a bad, I need to steer and not hold the camera. We are going to the top right there, and that's the top of Radical Hill. You can kind of see the trail going that way. So let's cut camera, play a little bit of music, and meet you at the top. Wahoo! We have made it to the top and to the lookout point. And as soon as I stop, I'll let you guys know just how far we've gone. I think I'll pull over here so I don't block anybody. And that is the top of Radical Hill. But let me pull over here and find out how far we've gone. So 5.3 miles from the town of Montezuma. And let's go look at the scenery, because it is pretty darn spectacular. And usually I don't like to turn the truck off just because it resets a whole bunch of things, but I did want to do a quick walk around and then kind of point out some things from the last video. Did you guys come up Radical?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to give you, if you did. Are you going down Radical?
Huh?
Are you going down Radical?
No.
Yeah, I'm too scared too.
No, we didn't want to scare her.
Yeah, I'm with you. I might just walk over there and give them a peek over the edge. So if you guys were following me last adventure, I went to the top of Webster Pass. And from up here, you get a great view of that. So let me zoom in. So if you remember, I did these kind of serpentines, and that right there is the top of Webster. So Webster Pass, elevation 12,003 feet. There's my trusty Ranger Raptor, made it up here no problem. And that is Red Cone, which we will do as well this year before the snow comes. And then I'm gonna just, this is one of those moments where influencers make the headlines by dying. So I'm gonna go to the edge of the cliff here, and I will show you Radical Hill from the top. So that is the trail right there, and that is the snow drift that I was talking about in the last video that kind of covers the path, and then it goes zoom, 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 up this way, and then up this way. And if you look very closely, you can see 3 or maybe 4 Jeeps up there, and then you can see that snow drift. So that is Radical Hill. And then there is a cool little cabin down there that you can visit if you do go up Radical Hill. But I'm already feeling a little queasy in my stomach. But this is just a spectacular view of the Colorado Rocky Mountains. I mean, look at this. No bad place to look. Oh my God. Just so wonderful and peaceful. And people are actually going, let's look at them. There's people going down Webster Pass. Look how tiny they look. But last word of advice, if you're coming up here, and I learned this lesson the hard way. One time I came up here on my motorcycle. I think that was my DRZ Suzuki that wasn't fuel injected. And usually in the summer, you end up with storms coming up from the west side. and then everything gets dark. And then if you look, I am the tallest thing out here. And if you're on a motorcycle, you're also the tallest thing out here. And then we get massive lightning, and that was terrifying. And what happened was I came up here, and the bike started to sputter because it wasn't fuel injected, it was carbureted. And I had to go back up and over the pass, and I didn't have the bike's ability to do it because it just kept stalling. So luckily an ATV came by and pulled me up over the pass, and I was able to get down. But this massive storm had come down, and lightning all around me, and oh my God, probably one of the most terrifying moments in my life. But today is not that. Today's beautiful, and I really appreciate that you guys have came and spent however long this video is. It's turning out to be much longer than I thought, and join me up here. And thanks to our sponsor, Onyx Off-Road. And we shall see you next time on another Everything You Ever Wanted to Know video. And that's a different valley. I thought I'm going down there, but eventually I will go down there. All right, see you guys next time. Ciao. Yeah, side-by-sides are just amazing. Look at him go up, no problem at all. If you were in a Jeep, you know, there was a Jeep that rolled down here a few years ago.
My dad always took his Jeep.
Yeah, the guy had a dog, and the dog was ejected. He survived it. The dog came down, I think, to Montezuma a few days later, but look at that guy go. Up radical, no problem. Good for him. So it is doable.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the guy on a motorcycle down there too. Not worthy. Not worthy. And then people up on Red Cone, way up there.